on the edge of a cliff. Realize there must be more to life than this. Reaching for the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from him, send with me tonight.
My channel is about all things chronic illness, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, Monday. I'm at my wit's end. I'm just hurting and being in pain. Can't eat without it being severe. I'm just so tired. Hey guys, so I wanted to do this video. It's raw, uncut. I do not feel good. I'm home. Not because I wanted to be home. It's because I left AMA. For you guys that don't know, that means against medical advice. The last few days of me being in the hospital were horrible. I would not wish this experience on my worst enemy. So, as you guys know, I went in on Thursday. Mind you, I had to be NPO after midnight. Checked in for my EUS procedure and possible ERCP if he got in and saw something that needed more investigation or treatment or whatever. So he sat down with me when I got there to, pretty much just tell me that my case is a little bit more complicated because I have lupus. Okay, that's not the first time any of us with lupus or autoimmune have heard that. So I wake up from the procedure. They did this little test where, they give you a cracker and some Sprite, something carbonated. I failed the test, apparently, so I took like a little bitty piece of the cracker and the Sprite, and I was like excruciating pain in my abdomen. I didn't think that was a cause. Like, sometimes you wake up from procedures and surgeries, you don't feel good, you're queasy, it's a lot of things, a lot of factors. So they said they were going to keep me overnight. I said, okay, whatever, thinking like, this is just routine. I'll get to go home, in the morning or whatever. So they drew labs at, night. And I got the results that Friday. And they were like, well, your pancreatic enzymes are very elevated. They shot through the roof from what it was before you came in. And you have, we've got to get them down. So in order for that, we're going to have to keep you. You can't have anything else to eat or drink by mouth. So that means Thursday, this is Friday, 2 days with no food. And they changed, like, my fluids was, I think it's called like a L-ring something. I have to try to find it. They put that special lactate type stuff in my IV. I was in a place called, I'll tell you the name of it in a second. So I'm down in this like bottom part of the hospital. My cousin works at this hospital because when they told me they were keeping me, I texted and was like, are you, working? Can you get me an N95 mask? I did pack a overnight bag, but it wasn't a good pack. I admit that was like a not a good thing. Like I wasn't prepared, for it. And so she, brought me one down and she was like, why are you down here? I said, I don't know. They just said that they were full, right? She's a unit secretary, so she knows the hospital if they're full or not. So the area that I was in, it found out was an overflow, like a cath lab, like recovery area. And I'm looking around, I'm like, it looks like an ER room because all they had was a sink. There was no bathroom. So the bathroom was right across from where my room was at. I had to share a bathroom with like 7 other patients, if not more. I had to share a bathroom with staff. Part of my treatment, the doctors wanted to measure my urine. So that gives you the urine hat. So every time I would urinate, the nurse would go in and she's like, I'll dump it. I'll measure it. So all they did was like rinse it or clean it out, as they say, and they would put the hat back on the floor. And that was the stuff I had to deal with. But thank God that every time my housekeeping kept coming in, they were throwing it away, because that's what you would think. Why would it be on the floor? So I was like, can we just like put this in a bag and keep it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you what it is, and this isn't sanitary. You know what I'm saying? So that didn't change, still stuck down there. And finally, they gave me something to eat on Saturday, because my enzymes were starting to come down. They were still abnormal, but they starting to come down. Still was in pain, still getting, the prescribed, pain medication, the Dilaudid that they prescribed me, and Zofran, every 4 hours. Because going in with abdominal pain, and then your pain is like 10 times worse. So, okay, that's what the protocol that they had. So, Saturday, they said, okay, she can start with like broth. Let's see how she does. So I did broth, and it was a liquid diet. It was broth, and it was some type of like yogurt ice cream. I didn't feel like that was liquid, but I tried it, and excruciating pain. But I still tried it, and I was like, it'll get better. Like, I didn't finish it all, but I tried. That night was a low-fat diet. And so it had Alfredo, some rolls, and a salad, which were horrible. And so I just ate the roll. Same thing, abdominal pain. They redrew the labs. Still coming down, not normal, right? So I finally get put in a room that night. And the one nurse, she had, I call her nice nasty, because it's just that was her demeanor. And I didn't, like, whatever. And the nurse, unit secretary from, that Saturday, she was short, but I didn't pay any attention. So the next day comes, I have a whole new nurse. Night shift, like, I have a list of nurses and staff that were amazing. So the next day on Saturday, my friend comes to visit me. They bring me a lunch tray. It was chicken that looked raw, baked chicken. Some green beans and rice and gravy. So I was like, okay, I love green beans. I'll eat the green beans and the rice and gravy. So I tried to eat the green beans. They were just horrible. Like, I was like, how do you mess up green beans in the can? So I was like, okay, let's just eat the rice and gravy. I put it in and I bit down, and my friend across the room was like, is that crunch? The rice was not even cooked all the way. So I called and said, hey, can I talk to my nurse, about my lunch? And the lady, the unit secretary that answers the call, is like, what's the problem? I said, I would just like to speak with my nurse. I said, the food they gave me was uncooked, and I just needed something, to eat. Well, it's the weekend, so it's slim pickings, but I'll tell her. Click. That's what she did. Okay, bet. Right? 2 seconds later, the nurse comes in. Not my nurse now. This is the nurse that was there, nice nasty, the day before. What's the problem? First, with an attitude. I said, the food. I was like, I'm not trying to complain, but it's not cooked, so I can't eat this. You know what I'm saying? I'm starving. Like, I've been living off of, like, broth. I only had 1 day of something, and it ain't even enough to say that I ate. So I've been, like, eating graham crackers, and, like, it just was horrible. So she was like, well, you can get stuff from the grill, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, okay, what kind of stuff? Like, I said, nobody's come in from dietary to ask me what I want. Nobody's like, I don't know what you guys consider on your liquid, what's considered on your low fat. Like, I just need to know. If you give me a list, I can tell you what I can try. And she was like, what about a grilled cheese? What about some mashed potatoes? I was like, fine, I'll try that. Jell-O, I just want to eat something, but this isn't fair. And for them to just say it's the weekend. I said, I know some hospitals will serve patients on the weekend sandwiches, but it's a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't raw food. So she goes and she calls the grill, and, then she comes back and was like, well, they're going to try to, make it, but I can't guarantee. And I was like, okay, thank you. You know, and then she was like, well, your medication, you're still on IV Dilaudid. Okay. And at this point, I hadn't had Dilaudid since that morning. This is like after 1. And so she's like, well, we need to transition you to PO pills, you know, getting ready for your discharge. I said, how do you plan to do that when I can't keep enough food in my stomach? So you rather me take a pain pill and throw up everywhere? Is that what you're saying? I was like, well, number 2, I'm not asking for Dilaudid when I go home because I have medical marijuana. But guess what? I'm in a different state. So therefore, I can't use my medical marijuana in this state. And she's like, oh, well, I'm going to call the doctor. How is it that you're going to call the doctor as he is already around it? Now, the doctor that saw me during the weekend is an on-call doctor. That is actually from my city where I live. He just drives over when this doctor is off. So I said, okay, whatever, do what you do. Whatever. I'm not arguing with you. So therefore, at this point, I called the nurse case manager to go over the complaints. Why did she pretty much say she already knows what I'm talking about and they'll try to talk to him again? That tells me right then you of course you knew it was a problem and that you really aren't going to do anything about it. And I politely, after, you know, her leaving the room 3-4 times because of codes, told her that don't worry about it. I'll go over her head to admin. Because it's unacceptable for anyone to treat someone the way they're doing. So I'm thinking, okay, it's done, squash with whatever. My IV goes off because my bag is empty at this point. The nurse case manager is left.
I hear you on the alarm.
So I click the call button. I didn't even say anything. I click it. The unit secretary picks up. She hears the beeping. I hear it. I'll tell her, click. That's exactly what she did. At this point, I'm so aggravated. Same thing happens again. The IV pole done. It was something with air in the line. Push the button. She did the same thing. And this was like a couple hours after the first, or that incident. So, okay, fine. Everybody was like, you've been nothing but the nicest patient. We're sorry that you're having to go through this, and then she was like, the unit secretary won't be there on Monday. So, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. So then Monday comes. I get my first dose at like 8 of my medicine because I had a rough night, which I didn't ask for. The nurse came in and said, hey, you want your meds? It's time. I see you're uncomfortable. Okay. Next thing you know, nurse practitioner comes in from the doctor to see how I'm doing, if I could be discharged. And I told her, I was like, well, every time I'm trying to eat, told her what I've been trying to eat. I said I had broke down that day. I had some grapes and that was on the breakfast tray and I broke down. I was crying so bad. That's how bad the pain was from eating grapes. So she was like, I want to call him and see if we can get some imaging. So they said, let's repeat the CT, or get a CT scan. Fine. I had to have a shower, got the CT scan. They took me down, brought me back. So the nurse was like, well, the doctor we hadn't heard nothing. And I was like, I'm really uncomfortable. So she said, let me get your meds. She said, hey, did the doctor come back in? I said, no. Why? They changed my orders to give me PO pills. So she called because she was like, how is she going to, she can't eat anything. I've watched her crying in tears after trying to eat grapes. So then they had an attitude. They made me wait till from my dose at 8. The doctor didn't come in to see me until 5, 6 o'clock. And I'll insert the clip.
Scan looks good. You need to get you home.
Okay.
All right. What do you take for her pain at home?
I don't do pain medicine at home. I have medical marijuana and that's it.
All right. All right. What'd you have to eat today?
Yogurt. And I tried to have grapes this morning. And I was in tears, in pain. And that's really all I've had. Yogurt and some graham crackers the whole time I've been here. And I've tried to nibble, had some soup, get 2 spoonfuls. My stomach is like, I'm bent over, and I'm like, well, at least before I could eat, and I knew I was going to have diarrhea in 30 minutes.
What did they bring you for lunch?
They had a hamburger on there and soup.
Did you try
And so I
any of
tried
that?
the soup and the yogurt.
I'll tell you what, do the best you can to eat tonight, and
Mm-hmm.
then let me check your enzymes tomorrow, all right? If your enzymes are elevated again tomorrow, then we'll sort of know what we got going on, and I'll pull that stent out of
Okay.
it, all right?
So how long do I have to wait to get the stent out?
Sometime tomorrow.
Oh, on tomorrow. Okay. That's I guess I'm just
We're not-
I guess I'm just like frustrated. It's not you because you're in procedures. You know what I'm saying?
No, but, you know, you didn't have really, your pancreatitis wasn't overwhelming, okay? It's pretty mild.
Okay.
And so maybe what you got is a side effect of some of the medicines you're getting. The Dilaudid will do
Okay.
a number on your nausea.
Okay.
So I would come back on the pain medicine.
Well, I haven't had anything since 8 o'clock.
Good.
So I mean,
Excellent. Do the best you can to eat,
okay.
all right? We'll sort of see how that all goes.
Mhm.
If I have to, we'll take a look at your enzymes again tomorrow, and I'll pull the stent. All right? We'll keep going with the medicines that help you with the nausea. As well.
So could we just schedule me to just get this out at this
Yeah, we
point?
potentially
Because
could, 'cause I mean, you really only have to
'cause-
be in there for like 24, 48 hours.
okay.
Then you don't have to come back.
Exactly. Because I'm really over the experience of the hospital. And I
Here's
worked
the thing, what I
15.
would say is
Oh, no,
this,
I
all
worked
right?
15 years in the medical field, and I had to call the house manager yesterday because of how some of the nurses, most of them have a whole list. Great. They were serving me food. I had rice with gravy on it that was not even cooked. And you know what they said? Well, you have to just deal with it because it's the weekend. I said, I wouldn't even give this if I had an animal.
Well, let me look into it. All right.
So that's my frustration. You know, and the nurse is like, well, you need to be weaned off the Dilaudid. I said, I didn't ask for Dilaudid. I woke up and that's what I was on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never came in and say, I need pain meds. I never did that. And I felt like that's what they were treating me as. I was like, half the time the nurses would come in, it's like, you ready for your meds? They're asking me. You get what I'm saying? But then I get punished for it. And I feel like because I have lupus, my healing process with anything, it doesn't go just as a normal person would go.
No.
Unfortunately. I feel like I'm being punished because of that.
No, but let's get the Dilaudid off the table, all right? Not because I think you're abusing pain medicine, because I think you were suffering from side effects of the Dilaudid,
Okay.
all right?
But the pain that I've
Let's
had
get
is the same pain that I've had, though, and I haven't been on pain meds.
Let's get the pancreas
Mhm.
off the table too. all
Okay.
right? If everything looks good, I wouldn't pull the stent tomorrow, all right? I wouldn't change anything. I'd get you home,
Okay.
all right? And we'll get you back in a couple of weeks and pull out the stent, and everything will be fine that way. If your enzymes are elevated and you're sputtering, well, we'll say, well, maybe it migrated into a side branch of your pancreas and pull it out of there, all right?
Mhm.
And we'll go from there on all of that. The other thing is, we treat you for the side effects, so hopefully you can eat a half a meal or so, all right, before you go.
Okay.
How did you know it wasn't cooked if you didn't eat it?
I did. I've tried every time they brought something, I've attempted to eat something
You all right?
because I'm starving. Like, I'm hungry. No. I just have nausea, and I haven't vomited at home. I've just had straight nausea and severe abdominal pain. And then it's like, okay, we're saying right upper quadrant, this area is like swollen. I mean, I figured it was normal. It hurts all right here. It flanks all the way down into my groin.
Uh-huh.
And it's constant, and it's been constant.
That's not your pancreas.
That's I'm just at my wits'
I can
end with
give
all
you-
of it. Like, I'm just tired.
Who is your rheumatologist
Dr. Jabir
in Pennsylvania?
He's in Florence, Alabama now.
Okay. Do you go to Florence?
Yes,
to
I
see?
do.
Well, let's get your pancreas off the table when we get you home. All right? I bet you'll do a lot better like that. All right? And then we'll sort of treat that. I'm suspecting what you have too with some of this pain is probably lupus pain. It's probably not pancreatic pain. You did have a heck of a stricture at the ampulla.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But that's wide open now.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get you in a little better shape tomorrow and you'll be able to go home. Your numbers in terms of your pancreas
Mm-hmm.
are fine,
Okay.
but we want to make sure they don't bump when you eat. If you start eating more, we want to make sure that they don't go up before I send you home.
Okay.
All right? And I will see you tomorrow morning.
Okay. I'll let my husband know.
Have a good night, all right?
Thank you. And that was the reason why I left against medical advice. Even knowing that this is the only doctor in close proximity that can even take this stent out, I left. I did, the nurse before I left, she was so upset. She said, I'm going to call them to make sure that they will be willing to take this stent out if you leave. She said, I just hate for you to leave. And then they just say they will not do it. And I did have to consider that. So she called the doctor. He did tell her, let her leave and that he would take it out. So I'm scheduled for next week to get this out. But no one should have to go through this for being sick. And the fact that they thought I was there for drug seeking. He kept asking, what do you take at home for pain? I do medical marijuana. You can say what you want about medical marijuana. I'm not smoking it normally. I'm mostly on a tincture oil and a pill. I'm not taking narcotics. Like, I'm risking my life in the middle of a pandemic to even be inpatient. Financially, I'm responsible for 20% of anything that occurs. So do you think I wanted to be in the hospital from Thursday till Monday? So this is the struggle I've been dealing with. I'm super weak. I'm only able to sit up for about 15 minutes at a time without feeling like I'm going to pass out. The pain is excruciating. And I'm at a total loss. So when I go back for my COVID testing on Tuesday for this procedure for next Thursday, I will be getting my medical records. Because, of course, I would never see this doctor again. I pray that God can touch their hearts of the evil people that were involved. Because you should not treat patients at all. You shouldn't treat animals. Nothing. It's ridiculous. And I felt like race has a play. But then the fact that you think people... And I was like, you are the one that put me on Dilaudid. I never asked for pain medication. And for you to say that the pain meds was making me worse. No, it's the same pain that I had when I came in. It's just worse. Because you did something that you don't know if it's right or wrong. So, mentally, physically, I'm not okay. But I at least wanted to let you guys know what was going on. So, be blessed.